Hi everyone, Blake Jones here, and a lot of people ask me, how did I get started as a colorist? When I was very young, I learned a lot about film since my father was head of publicity for Disney Studios. And I would go to the studio with him and had the ability to go to the different departments and learn about all aspects of filmmaking. And so what happened was that because I had experimented so much with film and was working in the business for so long and became so acclimated with the business, I eventually got a job in a video post-production company as a tape operator. One day, the head of the company came up to me and said, "Oh, well, you have film experience. We want you to learn how to be a colorist." And so they gave me a movie to work on, and they said, "Here, you have 5 days to learn." And so I graded the first movie, and they looked at it, and they said, looks good. Okay, so now here's the next movie. And then subsequently it went on and on and on, and then eventually I left that company, went to another one, started doing TV shows, and then went to another company where I got more into TV commercials. And this is sort of the snowball effect, how you actually get into the business. A lot of people ask me too sometimes, do you calibrate your monitor often? Well, the monitors that I work with, for example, I'm working with the Asus PA32 UCX, and it's a very stable monitor. It doesn't need to be calibrated that often, but I usually about once a month I do a calibration on it just for safety's sake, and it always comes out perfectly, and so I'm very, very pleased with this monitor, and it is so stable and perfect for color grading. People ask me frequently about whether I like working with film-based media or video-based media or digital media. I find that video or digital-based media is very, very simple to work with. And where I'm working with film, I find film-based media is totally ungraded, so of course it presents different challenges. And I prefer actually working with film-based media, and I can actually push the look more, and I can get to where I want to be much easier. So in answer to the question, film-based media for me is always the preference. People always ask me, when you started grading, you started, of course, grading with a telecine. The telecine what type of telecines did you use when you first started? Well, I first started using a Rank Centel Mark III-B telecine, and then eventually I went to the Rank Centel Mark III-C telecine. And then this type of telecine is actually a flying spot scanner and would allow me to get extremely good looks. And I was using, at that time, for a color correction controller, I was using a Dubner. And then eventually I was using the Rank Centel Amigo color corrector controller. Both these units would control the internal color grade that was inside the telecine. Later on, I was using the Thomson Spirit Datacine. And then with this, I was using the hardware version of DaVinci for controlling it. So I was first using the DaVinci 888, and then eventually the DaVinci 2K and 2K Plus color correction systems. I'm frequently asked, what type of source material do you prefer color correcting? Live action or animation? And it depends, actually. I've color corrected a tremendous amount of animated material, and I find that animated material tends to bring up different challenges that you would not normally see when you're grading live action material. With this in mind, overall, I tend to prefer grading live action material, but whenever I have to grade animation material, I always welcome the challenge, and so I always enjoy it too. So a lot of people ask me, do you have any specific advice that you like to give to people who are just starting out as being a colorist? And the primary thing I always tell people is always start out by using the tools that you feel the most comfortable with. Because as somebody said to me when I first started out, is that nobody wants to see you sweat in the grading suite. So if you're uncomfortable with the tools that you're using, or you feel nervous, this reflects onto the customer. He sees this and then it makes him uneasy. So this is not a good thing to have. People also ask me, do you take frequent breaks? This is important. Yeah, I always take breaks every couple of hours just to rest my eyes, because otherwise your eyes can drift off. And while you may be thinking that you're seeing the proper colors, in the end, your color perception has drifted. And so it's always important to take frequent breaks just to sort of, get a look at the real world and relax, have a coffee, and then go back to work. And then you'll notice that things will look great.